Hey, my name is Maria. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Germany. I grew up in a Catholic family, so I believed in God for as long as I can remember. And for me, it was normal to pray with my family every day and go to Mass every Sunday. But what I recognized very early was that me and my 4 siblings were pretty much the only children in the church. It was actually something special to see people under 40 there. And I went to a state school, which is way more common in Germany than a religious school. So I never met any Catholic who lived out their faith. Most of the people just believed in God, but going to church on Christmas was pretty much it. Nevertheless, I still never doubted my faith. I think one reason for that is the difference I recognize between people who truly live out their faith and non-believers. So my 2 uncles are in the same religious order as Father Patrick and Father Tadeo, and whenever I visited them and the sisters, I could feel the real joy and peace they have. It's hard to explain, but it's like you could meet and see Jesus through them. When I was 7, I visited them in Rome for the first time, and when I was there, I had the desire to go to Mass, which up until then I had never experienced before. The reverence they had for Jesus really inspired and touched me because I wasn't used to that in my home parish. And because of my experience there, I even wanted to become a sister, but that desire quickly disappeared when boys became more interesting. As I said before, I've never met anyone in school who was Catholic and truly lived out their faith. But when I was around 11 years old, I joined the Scouts of Europe. And for the first time, I met kids my age who were practicing Catholics. I got to see that I'm not the only 11-year-old girl in the world who loves Jesus, goes to Mass every Sunday and prays the Rosary and so on. So that really strengthened and helped me. Also around that age, I went for the first time to a Christian conference in Germany, and that really impacted my faith. I felt the Holy Spirit as I've never had before. I saw him touching hearts, and above all, I saw people on fire for Jesus. It was so impressive for me in this massive hall seeing 10,000 people worshiping Jesus with their whole heart, and it still is every time. Over the years, I didn't lose my faith, but I wasn't super enthusiastic about it either. It was kind of like a routine for me. I went to Mass every Sunday. I tried to pray every day, but that was pretty much it. So when I was 16, me and my family moved to another village, and I had to change schools, and there I met my now ex-boyfriend. And right after we started dating, I went to Medjugorje and felt connected to my faith again. But since my ex was an atheist, he was not supportive at all. And I couldn't really recognize it at the time, but I slowly lost my faith. Not in the sense that I didn't believe in God anymore, but I didn't really practice it. Like, I still went to Mass, but that was all. I also started to go out more. Almost every weekend I went to a nightclub or a party, and I started drinking and smoking. And although I had much fun with my friends, I felt this hole inside me. Something was missing, and I knew it was God, but I didn't want to change anything because the life I lived was comfortable and fun. But I realized more and more that I cannot continue to live like that, and this desire for a relationship with Jesus got bigger, and I started to change. And one thing I remember is when I went to adoration with my dad, there were 2 people at the side of the church to whom you could go for prayer, and that was at the time where I felt really distant to God. So I just went up to them and asked for prayer, and then one of them told me that when she prayed for me, she got the picture that God has a big gift for me, and at the time I obviously didn't know what that was, but now I'm convinced that this year in Holy Family Mission is the gift she talked about, and I couldn't have imagined a better gift. And then when I finished my Leaving Cert, I still didn't know what I should do with my life. All I knew is that I didn't want to go to college immediately. And I always wanted to spend a year abroad, but nothing really stood out to me. And one time I really felt that I should just ask my 2 uncles if they had any idea what I could do for a gap year. And they told me about Holy Family Mission, and we watched a few YouTube videos together, and I was immediately interested. But I didn't want to apply directly, so I decided to wait till after World Youth Day. so that I had time to pray about it. And as you can see, I ended up applying, but I was never really like, I have to go there, that's the only possibility, like that I could spend my next year. I was at peace with both outcomes because I fully trusted in God and that it'll work out the way He wills. And I honestly didn't really know what to expect. And every time people ask me what I'm doing here, it's so hard to explain because you really have to experience it yourself. And what I learned was that we should never allow people to pull ourselves away from God. No matter how important a person is to you, Jesus should always be number one. St. Augustine once said, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." And I've experienced that in my own life. Without God, we'll never be completely at peace or even happy, because we were created for Him. So thank you for taking your time to listen to my testimony. We'll be praying for you all here in HFM, and God bless.